Thanks for joining us. My name is Jess. I'm an animal care specialist here at Brookfield Zoo. And today we're giving you a really cool opportunity to check out what it's like to camp in bear country. At one of our habitats here at the zoo, we have set up an at-risk campsite. And we are now releasing our two brown bears, Jim and Axhi, to come check out the campsite. And you guys can see what happens when food is not properly stored at a campsite. And as you guys watch Jim and Axhi investigate this campsite, I'm going to be chatting with you guys about how to safely camp and hike in areas where bears are present. Here in North America, we have polar bears, brown bears, and black bears. And depending on the species, bears range from Canada to Mexico and in at least 40 US states. North America has a wide range of amazing landscapes, which sets up the ability to experience great outdoor activities and adventures. Camping is a really fun trip. It includes nature, hiking, tenting, campfires, and lots of animals. One thing to always remember is that when you go camping, you are entering someone else's home. This includes birds, squirrels, foxes, insects, and bears. You guys have an opportunity today to learn from Jim and Axhi, and we can help plan a camping trip that will keep everybody and bears safe. So like I said, probably the most important aspect of camping safety is related to food. Bears are always searching for food. Bears are curious, intelligent animals that have great memories. Their eyesight is similar to humans, and their sense of smell is 7 times more powerful than a bloodhound's, enabling them to smell food from miles away. Food storage lockers are provided at many campsites where bears live, and they should be used at all times to store food and attractants. Most bears are wary of humans and try to avoid them. However, bears can learn to associate people with food and be tenacious in their pursuit of something to eat, even if humans are around. Everyone in bear country must do their part to store food and other attractants in bear-resistant containers at all times and dispose of trash in bear-resistant dumpsters. Bears remember and recognize familiar food sources, like their favorite berry patch, decaying logs full of insects, streams and rivers teeming with fish that provide much-needed fat and protein. But bears also remember human campsites and dwellings that offer tempting food options. While bears are attracted to any edible food, they might also try to feast on some items that you might not consider edible. Some of those items include toothpaste, shampoo, lotion, soap, cooking utensils, empty cans and wrappers, coolers, pet food, birdseed, and garbage. So make sure all of these items are secured safely in a locked vehicle or in bear-proof containers. You can see that Jim and Axhi have been quite attracted to this campsite already because a lot of that food was not stored properly. Some other tips that I can give you for camping in bear country is that you should sleep away from your cooking and food storage areas. If you're in a camper, make sure you keep food in cupboards or enclosed containers inside and don't leave any food or trash outside. Don't burn food or packaging in grills or fire pits. Clean your picnic table after every use, and always remember to take a flashlight and make some noise if you are out after dark. In addition to camping, I can also give you some tips when hiking in bear territories. So one very important thing to remember is that you never want to feed bears or any wildlife. When you're hiking, stay alert and do not wear headphones, and cautiously approach any blind corners in a trail. You want to avoid areas where bears might be eating or foraging, like berry patches. You should carry bear pepper spray and a safety whistle, and make sure that it's easily accessible and that you know how to use it. It's always best to hike in a group, stay together, and keep dogs leashed. When you are hiking, just make sure you make plenty of noise. You can talk loudly, clap your hands, those kind of things. And if you're going on a long trip, make sure you keep food and other attractants in a personal-sized bear-resistant container. Now, if you do see a bear, maintain a safe distance and alter your route to avoid the bear. Never block a bear's travel route. And remember that most bears do not want to attack you, they usually just want to be left alone. If a bear has noticed you and is paying attention to you, continue to face the bear and back away slowly, talking calmly in a low tone to identify yourself as a human. So these are all great ways to hike and camp here in bear country. Now you can see so far that Jim and Axhi have taken a lot of the food off of the area, and they may even end up going into that tent as well. We will see what they decide to do. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit just about these two bears. This is Jim and Axhi. Jim is the bear in front, and Axhi is the bear that is behind the tent right now. These guys are twin brothers that came to us from Admiralty Island in Alaska. Their mother was shot by a hunter, and they were orphaned at a very young age. And bears usually live with their parents for about 2.5 years. There Axhi goes, destroying our tent. So bears usually live with their moms for about 2.5 years to learn how to survive in their natural habitat. And because these guys didn't have that time with their mom, they did need a permanent home and professionally managed care. So we adopted these guys back when they were just a couple months old and weighed about 40 pounds. Now these bears are well over 800 pounds. Does anybody have any questions about camping or hiking with the bears, or about these two bears?
Yeah, why do they look so fat?
Well, that's a good question. So bear weights can change throughout the year. So when they can actually get even bigger than they are right now. They hibernate or spend a lot of time over the winter sleeping. So during the summer and autumn months, these bears will eat a ton. They will eat as much as they can so they can get as much weight on them as possible before they go into those winter sleepy months where they don't have food. And bears can actually, in the autumn, they can eat up to 20 hours a day. They are so motivated to eat. So they like to put on weight to get ready for their long winters.
Can you remind us which one is Jim and which one is Axhi?
Jim is looking up at us right now. He's the one right in front. So I can tell them apart based on their facial structure mostly. Jim has a rounder face, and Axhi has a little bit more of a slender face. Jim's face is a little bit more blonde as well, although that can kind of change as the year goes on, because brown bears do shed twice a year, and when they shed, sometimes the color of their fur takes a different personality. So mostly we do it on the structure of their faces. And Jim is also slightly larger. He typically weighs about 20 pounds more than Axhi.
Hang on, I just had a question and I lost it because I was listening to you too much.
Oh, that's okay. That's totally fine.
Let's see, where was it? Oh yeah, are they Kodiak bears?
Okay, that's a good question. So Kodiak bears is a subspecies of brown bears. So these guys came from Admiralty Island, Alaska. So they're really kind of more of a coastal brown bear. Kodiak bears are from a specific area, and they're a little bit larger. And people sometimes also get confused on a brown bear versus a grizzly bear. So your brown bear is the bear that lives on the coast and has access to fish all year round, and they get considerably bigger. A grizzly bear is a smaller variety of brown bear that lives inland. And so those guys only have access to the high protein fish when the salmon are running through the streams inland. So those guys don't get as big. So these guys are considered more of the brown bear.
Is there a particular time of year when you're more likely to encounter bears?
That's a really good question. I don't have the for sure answer, but my guess would be in their high foraging season. So you're not very likely to see them in the winter, and even in the early spring, they're pretty sleepy still. They take their time kind of waking up for the season. But in the middle of the summer and in autumn, they are so focused on finding food that they're out, like I said, foraging, looking for food up to 20 hours a day. So I would think you'd be most likely to see them in the summer and fall months.
Can you remind us how old they are?
They are 25.
So do they have a true hibernation every winter?
Technically, I don't think that it's called a true hibernation because they do wake up occasionally throughout the winter, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water. So they're not a true hibernator, but they do sleep almost the entire time through the winter. Here in professionally managed care here at the zoo, these two brown bears have never actually slept through an entire winter. They typically every day wake up one time and they eat a little bit of a chow that we give them. They are omnivores, so they will eat meat and vegetables. And so there's a chow that we give them that kind of represents those food groups, and they just eat a little handful of that once a day, and that's kind of what they do. Then they go right back to sleep. So I would say these two bears every day in the winter are awake for no more than a half hour a day.
What are their favorite treats?
That's a good question. I think they really love honey and sugary stuff. It is true that bears do love honey. So if they can get their mouths on anything super sweet, today you saw there were marshmallows in there that they love. So it's not the healthiest thing for them. They don't get that very often. This is kind of a special opportunity for the brown bears doing this camping demonstration. But they do love sugar and sweets like honey.
Do they have good hearing?
They do have excellent hearing. They also have good vision. Their vision is similar to humans, but their night vision is a little better than ours. Their hearing is excellent, but it's really that sense of smell that sets them apart from other species. It's about 2,000 times stronger than human sense of smell. So that's kind of their prominent feature and sense.
So I have a question about their claws.
Sure.
We had a chat with Anne the other day, and she was showing us how the polar bears have more of a curved claw and the brown bears have more straight claws. And then I also know that the sloth bears are really like to rip into things like watermelons and pumpkins. So do these guys do that, or what do they use their claws for?
So I would equate it to like a rake and a shovel combined. So their claws are long and a little bit curved. And you would be amazed if they wanted to dig a hole that would take me 2 hours to fill. They could probably dig that in about 2 minutes or less, just with one swipe of that paw because of those nails. So they use the nails for digging a lot, and they're very efficient with digging. And they're going to dig to find roots and shrubs and bugs and things like that. So they do use it. They use their claws for protection too if needed. Sometimes they might have a territory battle with another bear. Brown bears do have overlapping ranges, but their range is typically 50 to 500 square miles, and they're solitary. So sometimes there's disputes over their individual ranges.
So we've got a question about how Jim and Axhi came to be at the zoo. Why was their mother shot?
It was a hunter, and you're not supposed to shoot a mom with cubs, but I don't believe that the hunter knew that animal had cubs. So unfortunately, they were orphaned that way.
All right. Do they like to eat a lot of insects?
They do. Yep. They'll, especially in their native habitat, they'll do a lot of eating insects. Like I said, they'll find a rotting log and use those nails to really rip it apart and get out all the insects. So they do eat insects. Bears are opportunistic eaters, which means if they find something that's edible, they'll probably eat it. For the most part, they like almost all food groups. It's very hard to find an item that a bear doesn't like to eat. So they are easy to feed.
Do they have an immunity to bees since they like to eat honey?
That's a good question. I don't know if they do. I would guess that their fur is very helpful in preventing bee stings, though. They have 2 layers of their coat. They have a soft undercoat and then like kind of a coarse, smooth outer coat. So I would think that fur kind of prevents the stingers from getting to their skin. And it's really just their nose and right near their eyes where their skin is exposed.
Well, we've lost both of them to the
yes,
pool.
It's a beautiful day to go for a swim. I think Jim and Axhi are pretty excited about summer coming. So we're going to take this time to say goodbye to you guys. Thanks so much for checking out our camping demonstration today. We hope to see you guys again when the zoo reopens. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and have a safe and happy summer.